in the heart of the enchanted kingdom of Eldoria, where towering spires of crystal pierced the eternal twilight sky and whispers of ancient magic danced on the wind. A single arrow of fate was about to shatter the unbreakable pride of a princess. Imagine this: a young woman so beautiful that stars dimmed in her presence, yet so arrogant that even the gods turned away in disdain. She had rejected kings, warriors, and sorcerers alike, declaring none worthy of her hand. But what if the one who humbled her wasn't from her world at all? What if he was human? Hold on tight, dear viewers, because this tale of love, loss, and redemption will grip your soul from the first word to the last. If you're already hooked, smash that like button right now and subscribe to our channel for more epic stories that transport you to realms beyond imagination. Hit the bell icon too, so you never miss a heartbeat of adventure. Now, let's dive into the story of the queen's arrogant daughter rejected all suitors until she saw the human. Princess Elara, daughter of Queen Isolde, was the jewel of Eldoria, a land where the elven folk lived in eternal youth, their pointed ears attuned to the symphony of nature, their silver hair flowing like rivers of moonlight. Elara's beauty was legendary: eyes like sapphires forged in the depths of the ocean, skin as flawless as freshly fallen snow, and a voice that could command the winds themselves. But beneath that ethereal grace lurked a heart armored in arrogance. From the moment she came of age, suitors from every corner of the realm flocked to the palace gates, bearing gifts of gold, enchanted artifacts, and vows of eternal devotion. Princes from the misty forests of Sylvana offered crowns woven from living vines. Warriors from the volcanic peaks of Drakmor presented swords tempered in dragon fire. Even the wise mages of the arcane towers arrived with spells that could bend reality to her whims. Yet, Elara dismissed them all with a wave of her delicate hand, and a scoff that echoed through the grand halls. "You think your trinkets impress me?" she would sneer, her lips curling in disdain. "A prince who cannot outshine the sun, a warrior whose strength fades with the dawn. Begone, for none of you are worthy of my gaze, let alone my heart." Her words were daggers, leaving the suitors humiliated and the court whispering in hushed tones. Queen Isolde, wise and benevolent, watched with growing concern. She had raised Elara in the lap of luxury, shielding her from the harsh realities beyond Eldoria's borders, but she knew pride like hers was a poison that could rot even the purest soul. "My daughter," the queen would plead in private, "love is not a conquest, it is a bridge between two equals. Open your heart before it turns to stone." Elara, however, laughed off her mother's warnings. "Equals? Mother, I have no equals. I am the blood of ancient queens, heir to the throne of stars. Why settle for mediocrity when perfection is my birthright?" Her arrogance stemmed from a deep-seated fear, though she would never admit it, a fear of vulnerability, of being seen as anything less than divine. In her youth, she had witnessed her father's betrayal. King Thorn, a noble elf who abandoned the throne for a forbidden love in distant lands, leaving Queen Isolde heartbroken and the kingdom scarred. Elara vowed never to suffer such weakness. She built walls around her heart, rejecting love as a fool's game. The court, ever loyal, indulged her, but the people of Eldoria began to murmur. "The princess's pride will be our downfall," they said in the taverns and markets. "What if no heir is born? What if war comes and we stand alone?" As the seasons cycled in their eternal dance, Eldoria's magic ensuring perpetual bloom, Elara's rejections grew more theatrical. One suitor, a handsome elf lord named Lirian from the Whispering Isles, arrived on a ship of pearl, serenading her with songs that made the flowers weep. Elara listened from her balcony, her expression one of bored indifference. When he finished, she tossed a single rose at his feet. "Your voice is pleasant, like a bird's chirp," she declared, "but I seek a storm, not a breeze. Return to your isles and find a lesser soul to enchant." Lirian left in shame, his ship vanishing into the horizon like a broken dream. Another, a fierce warrior princess from the nomadic tribes of the Golden Plains, challenged Elara to a duel of wits and strength, hoping to prove her worth. Elara bested her effortlessly with a spell that turned the warrior's sword to vines. "Strength without grace is barbarism," Elara mocked. "Go back to your plains and wrestle beasts instead." Word of Elara's cruelty spread beyond Eldoria's borders, reaching even the human realms to the south, lands of mortals where time marched relentlessly, aging bodies and fraying spirits. Humans were seen as inferior by the elves, as short-lived, impulsive, lacking the innate magic that coursed through elven veins. "They are like mayflies," Elara once quipped to her handmaidens, beautiful for a day, then dust. But fate, that mischievous weaver, had other plans. It began on a fateful eve when Queen Isolde hosted the Grand Alliance Feast, a gathering of all allied kingdoms to strengthen bonds against the encroaching shadows of the void. A dark force stirring in the east, threatening to engulf the world in eternal night. Delegates arrived from far and wide, dwarves from the under, mountains with beards like braided iron, fairies with wings of iridescent light, and even a contingent of humans from the kingdom of Valyria, led by their young king Marcus. Marcus was no ordinary human. Tall and broad-shouldered, with sun-kissed skin and eyes the color of storm clouds, he carried the weight of his people's struggles on his back. Valyria had suffered greatly from droughts and wars, and Marcus sought alliances to save his realm. He brought no lavish gifts, only a simple olive branch from his homeland's sacred grove, a symbol of peace and resilience. As the feast commenced in the grand hall, illuminated by floating orbs of starlight, Elara sat upon her throne beside her mother, surveying the guests with her usual haughty gaze. The elves and other immortals mingled gracefully, their laughter like chiming bells. The humans, however, stood out, their movements more grounded, their conversations laced with urgency. Marcus, dressed in modest armor etched with Valyrian runes, approached the queen's dais with quiet dignity. "Your Majesty," he bowed deeply, "I come not as a conqueror but as a seeker of unity. The void threatens us all. Let us forge bonds that outlast our differences." Queen Isolde nodded warmly, impressed by his humility, but Elara's eyes narrowed. A human, in her hall. The very idea offended her. She leaned forward, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Unity with mortals, how quaint. Tell me, human, what do you offer besides your fleeting lifespan? A dance that ends at dawn." The hall fell silent. Marcus met her gaze unflinchingly, a small smile playing on his lips. "Princess, I offer what all true allies do: loyalty, courage, and the will to fight for what matters. Lifespans may differ, but hearts beat the same." His words struck a chord in the queen, but Elara laughed, a cold, echoing sound. "Hearts, how poetic for one so ordinary. Begone from my sight, mortal. Your presence sullies the air." Marcus bowed again, undeterred, and retreated to his delegation. But in that brief exchange, something stirred within Elara, a flicker of curiosity, quickly smothered by pride. She dismissed it as indigestion from the feast's rich wines. That night, as the feast wound down, Elara retired to her chambers, a lavish suite overlooking the enchanted gardens, where bioluminescent flowers bloomed under the moon. She tossed in her silken bed, unable to shake the human's steady gaze. "Insolent fool," she muttered. "Oh, is he to speak to me so?" Sleep eluded her, and in the wee hours, she slipped out to the gardens for solace. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of night, blooming jasmine. As she wandered the winding paths, she heard a soft melody, a lute's gentle strumming, accompanied by a voice warm and resonant, singing of lost homes and enduring hope. Drawn like a moth to flame, Elara followed the sound to a secluded glade. There, bathed in moonlight, sat Marcus, his lute in hand. He wasn't performing for an audience, this was private, a balm for his own weary soul. The lyrics spoke of Valyria's golden fields, now barren from drought, and the unyielding spirit of its people. Elara hid behind a willow tree, watching. For the first time, she saw him not as a lesser being, but as a man burdened yet unbroken. His fingers danced on the strings with a passion that rivaled any elven bard's. When the song ended, Marcus sighed, staring at the stars. If only pride could water the earth, he whispered to himself. Elara's heart twisted, an unfamiliar ache. She stepped forward, her voice sharp to mask her turmoil, spying on guests now human. "Or is this your pathetic attempt at seduction?" Marcus startled but recovered quickly, setting aside his lute. "Princess, I meant no intrusion. The gardens called to me, much like they do to you, I suspect." His honesty disarmed her. No flattery, no groveling, just truth. They talked then, under the stars, first with barbs from her, then with genuine curiosity. Marcus spoke of his people's struggles, families torn by war, children starving in the streets. "We humans live briefly, yes," he admitted, "but that makes every moment precious. We love fiercely because tomorrow isn't promised." Elara, for the first time, listened without interruption. His words peeled away layers of her arrogance, revealing the loneliness beneath. "And what of elves?" she asked softly. "We live forever, yet feel so little." Marcus smiled. "Eternity without feeling is no life at all." As dawn broke, Elara returned to her chambers, her mind a whirlwind. The human had cracked her armor, but pride fought back. "He's nothing," she told her reflection. A fleeting spark. The days following the feast brought escalating tensions. Scouts reported void creatures, shadowy beasts born of darkness, raiding border villages. Queen Isolde called a war council, inviting all allies including Marcus. Elara attended, her eyes drawn to him despite herself. During deliberations, when Elven lords dismissed human strategies as primitive, Marcus proposed a bold plan, using Valerian ingenuity to craft wards from common metals infused with Elven magic. "Together we are stronger," he urged. Elara, surprising everyone, including herself, spoke in support. "The human has merit. Let us try." The council agreed and preparations began. As alliances formed, Elara found excuses to be near Marcus. She joined patrols, claiming it was her duty as heir. On one such outing, they ventured into the Whispering Woods, a forest alive with ancient spirits. There they were ambushed by void wraiths, ethereal horrors that fed on fear. In the chaos, Elara's magic faltered, her arrogance blinding her to danger. A wraith lunged its claws inches from her throat. Marcus dove in, shielding her with his body, his sword clashing against the shadow. Pain seared through him as the wraith's essence burned his arm. But he fought on, driving it back until Elara could summon a burst of light to banish it. Wounded, Marcus collapsed. Elara knelt beside him, tears, unbidden and shocking, streaming down her face. Why risk your life for me?" she whispered, cradling his head. Marcus winced but managed a grin. "Because every life matters, princess, even one as stubborn as yours." In that moment, her walls crumbled. She healed him with her magic, pouring her essence into the spell, and as he recovered, she confessed her fears, the abandonment by her father, the terror of vulnerability. "I've rejected love to avoid pain," she admitted. Marcus took her hand. "Pain is part of living, but so is joy. Let me show you." Their bond deepened amid the growing threat. Elara faced internal challenges too. Court intrigue, where jealous lords plotted against the human taint on the princess. One Lord Vesper, a spurned suitor, spread rumors of betrayal, inciting unrest. Elara confronted him in the throne room, her voice steady. "Love is not weakness, Vesper, it is strength, and I choose it." The queen, witnessing her daughter's growth, banished Vesper, solidifying Elara's resolve. As the Void's army marched, the final battle loomed at the Crystal Pass. Elves, humans, and allies stood united. Elara and Marcus fought side by side, her magic amplifying his valor. In the climax, the Void's lord, a colossal shadow entity, targeted Elara, sensing her as the key to Eldoria's fall. It whispered doubts into her mind. "You are alone, unworthy." But Marcus's voice cut through. "You are everything. Fight with me." Together, they channeled a fusion of elven magic and human will, shattering the entity in a blaze of light. Victory came at dawn, the Void retreating. Eldoria and Valeria forged an eternal pact. Elara, transformed, married Marcus in a ceremony blending elven grace and human warmth. Their union symbolized unity, proving that love transcends differences. Queen Isolde beamed with pride. "You have found your equal, my daughter, in heart if not in years." A years passed. Elara, now queen, ruled with compassion, her arrogance replaced by empathy. Marcus aged gracefully beside her, their children, a blend of elf and human, bridging worlds. When Marcus's time came, Elara held him, whispering, "Your spark ignited my eternity." His legacy lived on, teaching that true strength lies in humility and love. And so, dear viewers, remember, arrogance blinds, but love illuminates. No matter your walls, someone may shatter them with a simple, human touch. If this story moved you, and I know it did, hit that like button, subscribe for more tales of heart and heroism, and share with a friend who needs inspiration. What did you think of Elara's journey? Comment below. Until next time, keep your hearts open.